Call this meeting of Brother County Council to rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll open the meeting with public comment. Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to, I guess, the approval of minutes. We have minutes here from February 25th and February 27th.
I'll move that we approve the minutes from February 25th and 27th.
Okay, I will second the motion. Motion's been made, second to approve minutes of February 25th and 27th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Okay, let's go to the Commissioners' Community Update. I attended the Board of Health meeting, and that was about it for last week.
Met with Mary to discuss the solid waste plan, Board of Health. Met with our county attorney to discuss ongoing Barris trial. Attended the LAPC meeting, and also attended the TED district meeting down in the south end of the county. And also, I'd like to go ahead and read this letter. It says, Governor signs bill dedicating highway to fallen deputy. A section of U.S. Highway 287 outside of Three Forks will be named after Broadwater County deputy killed in the line of duty. U.S. 287 at mile marker 109 will be named the Mason Moore Memorial Highway. Moore was killed in May of 2017. The sign including Moore's name, title, date of passing, and badge number will be installed at mile marker 109 where Deputy Moore lost his life. Broadwater County Sheriff Win Meehan told MTN a dedication ceremony will likely happen in March. House Bill 156 unanimously passed the Montana House of Representatives. It passed the Montana Senate by a vote of 48-2. Governor Steve Bullock signed the bill into law on Tuesday. Mike?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Volkford, could you give just a real quick summary of what you can give us to the public, I'm speaking for the reporter here, on the solid waste plan? Because a lot of people are asking where that's at and where it's going.
Yeah, well, you know, the plan really hasn't changed since I think it was published last time. It was just a discussion to firm up that was the direction that we were going to go.
Okay, I just wanted to know
Yeah.
if there was anything new there. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
nothing new.
All right, thank you, sir.
We have a letter here from DEQ for the matter of the amendments. Amendments for reclamation, water quality subdivision, underground storage tanks. Extension of the comment period. Comment period's been extended for 45 more days. Department of Agriculture, Forest Service, Stonewall Vegetation Project update. This project's on Lewis and Clark counties and Powell counties, Montana. Project is designed to improve long-term forest health and reduce fields within the Stonewall Vegetation Project area of the Lincoln Ranger District. A letter from the DES for extended power outage threats. recommended that all county, city, school district, fire and ambulance vehicles and equipment be fueled up daily at the end of each shift. Also, it is recommended all vehicles be kept at least half full throughout the day. We recommended that all city, county, fire, and school district propane or fuel oil tanks used for heating or for backup generators should be checked often and refilled as needed. City water and sewer is not gonna be working. The city does have a generator at the lift station on North Cedar Street to prevent backup of sewage. Retail stores and restaurants cannot operate without power because of electronic checkout systems. Restitution from Bill Flanner in the amount of $632.52. Advertisement from Wicked Snowcats. Advertisement for plows and graders.
We'll use a few more of those right now.
We could use them, yeah. That's what we need. HIPAA compliance 2019 for local health departments. HDR Engineering, Idaho. Broadwater Hydroelectric Project request for stakeholders' email address. Aircraft Maintenance Technology Magazine. Department of Transportation. Broadwater County Bridge Inspections Report through December 2018. This is for the mail. So, 10 o'clock. Do you have a survey, Bernadette?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The first certificate I have today is for between Vanden Acres and Bucks. And Vanden Acre has over 100 and the remainder will be 181 acres. And he's adding 3 acres. Well, this will be 3 acres then from 1 acre to 3 acres. So making this parcel bigger from this overall big parcel.
So this is the existing?
Yes, those dash lines are the existing, and then it's enlarging. And this is out by Grandview Manor.
Is this the current access right here?
Yes.
And then what's this space here? What is that?
That is still a portion of Vanden Acres.
Okay, so that boundary doesn't go up against
No.
here?
No. I don't know the exact reasoning of why they didn't want to do that, but
I guess I'm just looking in the future, are they planning some easement to this property through here?
I would doubt it. The 25-foot, I mean, it could be a possible driveway, but
Driveway?
it couldn't be a subdivision road or anything like that, with it only being 25 foot. But most of his property, I mean, it borders White Horse and the highway for the access into here.
So we're just doing a boundary relocation basically?
Yes.
Is there any, I'm curious, are there any other things that need to happen during this relocation? I mean, is there any other, like, DEQ things or things like that that have to happen?
No, it's been reviewed by the examining land surveyor and WWC Engineering
All
on the sanitation aspect of it.
right, okay.
Is there a motion to approve?
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the bond relocation for Deborah Buck.
I'll second the motion. Motion's been made and seconded to approve this bond relocation for Bucks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All same. Motion carried.
This is a tract for a family member down Lower Deep Creek Road. And they are getting DEQ approval, which is just about done. And then the other portion is there's no septic sewer water until it goes through DEQ. For Tom Elio. There was an existing parcel here with a trailer with existing septic and all, but it had never gone through DEQ, so they're taking it through DEQ.
So is the remainder of this tract is 6.27 acres?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is, like, goes up a steep hill. So it's,
Is that why they have this jogging here? Because that's the end of the flat property?
right, yeah.
Okay.
And some, the terrain. This is really unbuildable.
Does that lot go up on top of the hill?
It goes to the top of the hill. And I believe, Tom Ulio owns the piece here at the top of the hill.
Oh, abutting it?
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm. And his main thing was to purchase it, so, you know, he didn't get a lot of neighbors. And this also has been to the examining land surveyor and WWC Engineering.
Does this already have a septic on it?
This piece here does,
Okay.
but it was being, since it hadn't gone through DEQ, they were taking it through DEQ, so that'll be in
So
compliance.
is there plans to build a home there, is that?
No, I think there's an existing trailer there right now, and I don't know their intentions, rent it out, or, like I said, they purchased the property mostly so they had control over it, being adjoining to them.
So this is just preliminary, right? This approval?
It'll,
Here's my question.
You
So it has an existing septic on it. If they build a home that's bigger than what the existing septic will accept, how do they deal with that?
They'd have to go back to DEQ.
And
was
since
it?
they're doing a family land transfer, they don't have to have DEQ approval on this prior to transferring, right?
No, they would,
They would?
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, this cannot be filed until the DEQ is approved.
So
The
we-
DEQ approval will have to be filed with it.
Right. So I guess that's the question I'm asking, is this gonna have to come back before us once the DEQ,
No,
no?
no,
Or just, they'll approve it and then it'll be filed?
right. And if it doesn't get approved, it
You need
can't
to
be
walk me
filed.
through, you need to walk me through some of this.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so yes, if, when DEQ approval comes, then it can all be filed. And if DEQ never, if they can't get it approved or something, then this could not be filed.
Gotcha.
Unless they did something totally different, which then would come back to you.
Sure.
Right?
So is there a motion to approve the certificate of survey for the Ely family land transfer?
I will make the motion to approve the certificate of survey for the Eagle family transfer.
All second?
Yeah, track to be right.
Motion been made, second to approve the Ely family land transfer, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A wonderful warm day.
Yes, somewhere not here. So we move on to the 10:15, Nicole Brown, Community Development Director, update Valley Drive status as a public road process.
Good morning.
Good morning, Nicole.
So this is a follow-up to our last Monday's meeting. And so the purpose of this request, just for the members of the public, for the record, and a refresher for yourselves, I received a request for an RID on Valley Drive. I was unsure whether or not an RID could be put in place. RID stands for Rural Improvement District. If that could be put in place and administered by the county if the road was not a county road. So I asked the question of our Mako land use attorney. Her response to me last week was that no, you can only do an RID on a dedicated public road, as in through a subdivision road, or a county road. I was then asked by the commission to follow up and, determine the process for it becoming a public road. So I had a phone conversation with Ms. Depew, our Mako land use attorney. The only way to do an RID on Valley Drive specifically, the commission would need to go to all of the landowners along Valley Drive and request a dedicated 60-foot easement. Or the landowners may petition for the road to become a county road.
So if you get a petition for that, does you have to have 100? What's the percentage of landowners you have to have on that petition to declare it a
A county road?
county? Yeah.
I didn't bring the
Public
petition
road.
down. For a public road, you would have to have 100% of the landowners along Valley Drive would have to grant the county a dedicated 60-foot easement. In petitioning a county road, I just believe it's greater than 50%. Do you know, Ann, if there's?
Yeah, I know it's more than, but I can't remember.
I don't think it's a 65 or 75. I think it's
No,
basically,
I can't remember,
Yeah,
but I
without
haven't looked
having
at it, so
petition.
I
Yeah.
can't remember.
So does it take both of these or just one or the other?
just one or the other.
One or the other,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, so the landowners have the option of either, and when I'm talking landowners, only landowners that own property along Valley Drive. There is a subdivision at the end of Valley Drive, and those folks don't all necessarily, they have access to Valley Drive, but they don't own property on it, so it would be pointless for them to sign off dedicating an easement that they don't necessarily
So
own
would
property
it
to.
be 50% of adjacent landowners?
So 100% of the adjacent landowners on Valley Drive would need to give you a 60-foot dedicated easement. Now that 60-foot dedicated easement, because Valley Drive is an east-west road, you could take 100% of the folks on the north or 100% of the folks on the south. It doesn't have to be 30-30. Obviously, that would be preferential, so that the 60-foot easement is shared by landowners on both the north and south portions of the road. But as long as you have a dedicated 60-foot easement that the landowners grant you, 100% of the property owners along Valley Drive. Option B, the landowners in that area, or any one landowner, can carry around a petition for it to become a county road, and we have a process for petitioning to become a county road.
So then, I guess my question would be that if say they did that process and they become a county road, then it still has to meet the county road standard. I guess where I'm going with that, does the county standard specifies a specific easement in the right of way?
So the county road standard is a 60-foot easement. And so for them to petition for it to be a county road, you might want to get legal opinion on that as
Right.
well.
I
Because
guess-
if you don't have that dedicated 60-foot
Right.
easement,
So that's what I'm thinking. So
Mhm.
after they do that, are we still gonna have to go back to get the 60-foot easement from the adjacent landowners?
there's a possibility.
Because in my mind, I think that's probably what's gonna have to happen.
So with that being said, I cannot move forward on this RAD as presented because the road itself does not meet the criteria.
So are we left with this basically being a petition from landowners then?
That is correct.
Okay.
Unless you want to pursue this requesting of a 60-foot easement from all landowners. For a dedicated public road.
So I guess we can move on to our community development block grant for updates to growth policy, capital improvements, and floodplain map and contractor decision.
Well, one thing, so thanks Nicole for that. Are you gonna contact those folks and then let them know where they're at, or?
I will contact my point of contact on the RID.
Yeah. Is it Gary?
Gary.
Gary
Mhm.
was in here last week, yeah.
Yep, I will certainly
Let
follow
them
up
know
and
where we're at,
contact
and
him.
then I guess it's up to them to proceed
Mhm. Okay,
what they wanna do.
all right. I will send him a
Okay.
letter.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, Tim?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, just to back up just one little piece. So there's no decision going to be made on Valley Drive or did you make one? I
No.
didn't really hear any further discussion.
There's no decision before we get anything else from the petition people.
Basically tabled then,
Yeah.
We can't proceed.
using that term.
Yeah, we can't proceed
Okay.
on the request.
All right, thank you. Just wanted to make sure I was clear on it. Thank you.
Did you have a report on the CDBG grant?
I do. So the review committee met last week to review all RFPs, or all submittals, if you will, to our RFP for the Community Development Block Grant. So based on the following criteria: 30% qualifications, 15% capability, 15% current workload, and 40% experience in updating the growth policy plan, capital improvements plan, and floodplain ordinance, the review team recommends Great West Engineering as the winning bidder of the Community Development Block Grant RFP.
All right.
Or any further discussion? The recommendation from the working group was to approve Great West as the contractor for the CDBG grant program for growth policy, capital improvements, and floodplain mapping. Is there a motion?
So I'll make a motion to award the CDBG block grant to Great Western Engineering.
I'll second. Is there any further discussion or public comment? Motion's been made and second to award the CDBG grant for growth policy, capital improvements, and floodplain mapping to Great West Engineering. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Can I ask an administrative question at this point? Was the commission going to draft a letter to all unsuccessful bidders as well as the successful bidder, or would you like me to do that?
They're all drafted.
They're done.
Just
Okay,
have to sign
perfect.
and send them out.
Okay,
Thank you, Nicole.
thank you.
So we can go to our 10:45. Do you know if Wynn was coming over?
He's at Western States, so,
Oh, okay.
on the sheriff's conference, so.
Are you familiar with this request for purchase of vehicle?
I have the letter here if you need it.
Somewhat familiar, if you want me to talk about it.
Okay. Have you seen the letter?
No.
I'll give it to you.
Are you, will you pull this equipment out of here, or are you gonna leave the equipment in there?
No, like the radar and stuff we would pull out and either use for the sheriff's office as either a backup. It's the same radars that we use in
Oh,
our
okay.
patrol vehicles. You know, it's about $2,500, $3,000 right there. Or we could sell it back to a radar company that we've traded in old radars to the past. You know, we're not gonna get that out of it, but it would be money back.
Okay.
And then like the camera system and the light bar and stuff like that will come off. You're probably not gonna get much for that stuff, but I think the big thing is you know, pricing out the vehicle for search and rescue. It's pretty set up, off-road ready. It does have a new motor put in it, not a brand new motor, but not a police car motor, so it's probably a little bit better. Hedstrom's has gone through it and everything looks good. It has a radio in it, which is the same Motorola radios that we use. It just needs to be reprogrammed, so you're looking at a $4,000 radio. So $8,900 for the car. The car's worth, every bit of that. And, that radio is huge. They'll switch some lights out to the bulb colors to green for search and rescue. And other than that, it has winch on the front, big bumper, toolbox in the back that's worth quite a bit too. So it'd be very useful for search and rescue to have.
All right.
Okay, thanks, Brian.
We're just looking for approval to move forward for search and rescue.
So is there a motion to approve search and rescue's purchase of the vehicle?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the request for search and rescue to purchase this vehicle.
I'll second the motion. Motion been made and second to allow search and rescue to purchase the 2013 Police Tahoe for search and rescue. Any further discussion?
I think it's important to note too that they do have the money in their budget,
Yeah.
so.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Do you want a copy of this, Ann? Please. We'll make a copy and I'll put it back in my records if I can, please.
Okay, let's see, move on to our 11, Corey, finalization for Hawaii lease agreement.
Well, the finalization might be a little premature. I sent I think you guys already know everything that I know. We received a letter from Chuck Pataya with his proposal of a bid for a lease. I wrote a letter and sent it back to him on the 27th, in which I not only disagreed with his view of the law, but also the current state of things, and then with the proposal of a lease that we need to hear back from him. So
Okay.
that's where we are.
Yeah, I wrote a letter.
I'll probably call him tomorrow, see if he got the letter.
All right. I guess the important thing there is we did set a deadline for the 15th.
Yeah, and we need to move along on this.
Yeah.
And then we also talked about issuing that payment for his services as a county health officer.
Right.
So I would recommend we do that.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
That's that.
Okay, thank you, Corey.
Are you guys around this week? What's your...
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a hospital meeting tomorrow morning and Wednesday morning.
Okay. So I've got a few things that are just percolating, but as I get them done, I'm going to email them to you and ask you to put them on the agenda whenever.
Okay.
But then there's a couple issues I just want to grab you guys one at a time when you're around.
Sure.
Okay?
Okay. Okay, thanks, Corey. Anything else to be brought in front of the commission today, then?
We have public comment right quick, did I miss that?
You missed it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can go ahead, you
Okay.
got something you wanna say?
Just a quick thing on Friday night, let you guys know that, we had a inundation of phone calls of, the roads being blown in and people being stuck. We had our search and rescue out, taking people from their cars home, so, I'm sure the road crew had to deal with a lot of cars stuck in the middle of the road when they came back to plow, but, just kind of gave you guys an update. They were all in the county Friday night, all the way until Saturday morning, getting people home, so. So the new snowmobiles worked out great. Some people surprisingly weren't very happy to get a ride from their car to their house in a snowmobile, but for the most part, most of them were grateful, so.
Right.
Those guys did a good job.
Walking through those drifts.
Yeah, they did a good job, and, we're out pretty much all night in that freezing cold and wind and stuff, riding around, giving people rides in their cars to their houses, so I think the last call was about 4 in the morning, and then one on Sunday, so that's how long people sat in their cars, just to update for you guys.
So is your guys' policy then say if somebody has a medical emergency that search and rescue can go get them and bring them down to the ambulance if we
Yeah, well-
get to that point? Is that
Yeah,
kind of what
we've had to do that in the years past, but, it really is to call, Mary calls you guys, gets approval for a road grader to be called out to plow to a house. You know, whatever would be faster, if that's not possible, then yes, search and rescue would have to figure out a way to go in and get them.
Sure.
I don't know how we would get them out on a snowmobile, that's pretty much the only way we had to access any of those, residents, so, I don't know if in the
Oh, you
future.
don't have a sled or whatever to bring people out?
They do, but I don't think it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd have to
so-
let them speak on that, but it's,
Mhm.
the last time I'd seen it, it's, you know, I don't know, that maybe
Okay.
set up for someone to stay there and make sure it doesn't tip over and things like that, but, yeah. You know, maybe in the future, we need to look at, maybe like tracks in the wintertime for that, new side-by-side they just bought.
Mhm.
If you put those on it, then that has the capability of getting, it has a spot for a stretcher on it. It'd be a cold ride, but, it'd be tough, but it would work better than snowmobile, I think,
Yeah.
so.
Well, you know, when we get in situations like this, it stretches our resources all the way around for all 80 season.
Yeah, and we had we had one guy that, got snowed in last year. We ended up having to bring him some supplies this year. This was on Sunday, and, he issued a check, so that'll be coming back in, but, I'm gonna try to have a talk with him next year to really try to prepare himself a little better, but he has no ability to get out. He's elderly and lives quite a ways up in the hills there, so, can't really leave him hanging, so we brought him some fuel for his generator and a small amount of groceries that he will check to us, same as he did last year, so.
So, well, that's good that you do that.
Did you guys have any graders out? Friday
Yeah,
night?
they've been out,
No,
I don't
Friday
know if
night.
they were out Friday night or not. There's really not much sense in putting them out Friday night when the wind's blowing 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, but if you got emergency crews out there that are volunteers that are already probably worked a full-time job, now they're working another.
Yeah, and I don't know if Mary had them out Friday night or not.
Do you think that you guys should have a policy where they should do something like that? Because you got the volunteers out there freezing their butt off, you got a guy in the next one of the cab, just, I'm sure it took a lot more work later on to get the cars.
Yeah, but I guess the other question to that is where are you gonna send the grader to where you want them at?
Well, they would know.
I mean, well, you had people calling on Antelope Road, all the people on Quarter Circle, all the people at Lazy HM. So, you know, where are you gonna put them at?
Probably where most people were stuck.
Yeah, I would imagine, but you know, by the time you get the guy from Townsend to the Quarter Circle, now you got guys calling from Antelope too, so I don't know how you would, you know, the best thing is for people to use their head and stay home or else not go home.
I know
It's
people
called
are-
winter in
The
Montana.
problem is people just get out work and get it home.
Well,
But here's the other thing to think about, we need to give our crews some time to get a little bit of rest so they can hit it the next day as well, right? So there's a point, they, you know, I know that Mary worked them as long as she could that day. We gotta give them a little bit of rest so they can go the next day. And if it's an emergency and the sheriff's office calls and they need them, they're gonna be there.
I think for the most part, one of the deputies talked to the graders, and I think they were out until like 6 or something, and then they couldn't keep up with it, it was blowing in behind them, and we still want to get people up their roads, so, you know, that's not my area of expertise, so, I guess you guys would have to talk with Mary, and maybe those grader guys to see what, you know.
And we're down one grader too, you know, if people realize that. One grader's broke, so we're down to 3.
Our search and rescue did a good job.
I think they did pretty good considering the circumstance.
You got the roads out north, they were blowing in so fast that your tracks were blowing in behind you as you went. I know some people were pulling other people out, and they barely made it out themselves when they gave up, because it was just blowing, drifting so hard and so fast out there. And I think most of the county was that way. I don't think there's any way anybody could possibly have kept up on it.
The track season starts next Monday, so we don't have to worry about any of that. It might turn into swimming season though.
Any other public comment or anything? So I guess we will adjourn at 10:41. I guess you might take a
Seems like it's okay.
We got the sitting in.